Hello, everybody, and welcome to another presentation of card reading and crystal ball seeings from Izabela and myself, Gary. So, I'm Gary from Alternative Interactions, and you are.
I'm Isabella from Tarot by Isabella.
Now, today we're going to look at what is 5D and what is 4D. And with the 5D and the 4D, what they could mean to us and what they might bring to us. Uh, and we'll see what happens because 5D is a terminology that we tend to all use these days to describe where we could be going, which is of a higher vibrational frequency to the current 3D realm, Earth, whatever you want to call it, planet that we currently live on or in. So, 4D for me personally, and I don't know if I'm right or wrong, and I'm looking forward to finding out. 4D is my understanding is a non-physical higher frequency realm that could be or could not be a holding area for source spirits, whatever, souls that are waiting to go into the 5D with us to be reborn. I don't know, but this is how I see it personally. And Isabella, before we start, have you got any ideas yourself about what 5D is or 4D is?
Well, 5D for me is a very harmonious place. No violence, love, pure energy, pro-life, and no oppression whatsoever. Balance in everything, in nature, in living, and no struggle. And of course, health. Very healthy and abundant place. Or real or frequency. We'll see what what comes out, because sometimes when we do these readings, we are thinking some things will come out in a certain way, but then we get totally different answers. So we'll see. This is the first time we do this, and it could be pleasant surprise. We'll see about that. And about 4D, well, I have really no idea. It could be anything. One thought I got or a feeling, it could be some kind of transition frequency that could be quite quick, just before, like a waiting place, like a train, central train station before you go onto the train,
Yeah,
or the moment when you step on the train, that specific moment. The central station could be the 3D, but that moment when you lift your leg to go into the train could be the 4D. Who knows?
yeah. And that is the point of the show today, or the presentation, or the reading, is that we really don't know. And
Mm,
so Isabella and myself were talking about this privately, and we've like, I wonder. And so today,
yeah.
hopefully, we're going to find out. So, Isabella, shall we start off with the 5D
Yes.
and see what the crystal ball has to show you and guide you with what 5D frequency or the terminology that the higher self understands for 5D to be?
Yes. Okay. We'll start. Just need a few seconds, and we'll see what the crystal will have to say. 5D. What is the five-dimensional frequency? Okay. Glasses on. Uh, the first thing I saw here, it was clean water. Clean, crystalline water, like mountain springs. And why they show the water first is because without water, there is no life. And water represents life. And clean water is a clean life. And I saw this clean water, like rivers and creeks, like like blood vessels in our body, going everywhere, bringing health, bringing nutrients to every corner of let's call it planet. Every place. And when you drink from that water, it cleans everything out. Everything from you that is not in harmony, not in balance, cleans out. And those who drink that water becomes vibrant, almost like they are light comes out from them. Mm. Um, I saw big trees, green leaves, fields, forests, mountains, and the air. I can, I feel the air when I breathe it, and it's so, oh my God, it smells nice and it's so clean, and you just want to keep on breathing. Yeah, it's like I'm there. Mm. And I look up on the sun, and it's soft yellowish light that shines, and it's not too hot. You don't get burned from the sun. It's just pleasant. And I see a lot of animals there, and they are not fearful of those who are in 5D. They come and they play, and it could be carnivals or other animals that don't eat meat. But it's a peace. And I see people around there, and they're not stressed. They have no wrinkles. And they look so peaceful and so happy and smiling to each other. I don't see any big buildings. I see smaller buildings, like, you know, uh, houses made of natural materials, like stone, wood, whatever. I don't see any storms. I don't see any strong winds. And I see areas, just like we have today, where there are more tropical climate and areas where there are more seasonal, like winter, spring, summer. But both are in harmony, and you can choose wherever you want to be, or you want to be a time in tropical climate, or you want to be it's free. There are no borders. You can go wherever you want. There are no hospitals. No need of it. And when people are gathering on the tables, it's barely any food. It- some snacks, but no food really. Not like now you need, big steak or, no. It's just snacks and a big jar of water. Yeah, many th- many things of what I see could be symbolical, but or not. It's a place of harmony, harmony in nature, and a harmony between all living beings. And what we see as technology today, there will be a lot of technology in this 5D, but not in a way we are accustomed to. Here, technology um, needs a lot of contamination to be made. The plastic, the toxic metals, um, the slave labor, or whatever is. No, it's not there. In that, there is a lot of technology, but it's something natural, and it's more it's difficult. I'm not living there. I can only describe, but it's fluent, transparent, like crystals. And I hear, um, um, if you gather around a fire, bonfire, I hear the fire and from the wood, the cracking, and soft songs, and it's very, very peaceful. A place of extreme peace and harmony. Yeah. Well, in big terms, or yeah, this is what I could feel when the crystal ball wanted to describe the 5D paradise-like scenario. Mm.
I had a future life progression with Gordon some time ago.
Mm.
And what you just described is exactly what I saw in the next realm beyond that, is what I was shown as.
Oh.
So I wasn't shown 5D, I was shown the realm beyond that. And it was very, very similar. There was no food. You only drank water fundamentally. All wildlife, you could just put your hand out and a wild bird would land on your hand.
Mm.
And there were tigers and dogs and lions, cat, also just all playing with each other, all bounding around in beautiful meadows, covered full of bees, every flower you could ever imagine. It's just a sea of colour.
Mm.
The sky was beautiful, the sun, and there was big crystals that had come out of the ground. And we lived in like round mushrooms. We didn't burn fire or anything like that. That was like the next stage on. So it was even more natural than what you're describing.
Mm.
So less food. So it's like the next bit on. We spoke with our minds, and you could transport yourself wherever you wanted to just by thinking about it. So, oh, I want to see what the mountains are like, and you were there. So it's fascinating. And what you've just described, Isabella, really brought me back to that amazing sensation and feeling. So
Mm.
yeah, wow.
Yeah, and it was so because I could smell the air. I could feel the warmth from this sun in 5D. Not our sun that can be very dangerous, but this one is not.
Yeah, that sun there was a very nice, it was a beautiful yellow, that
Yeah.
golden yellow color that we used to have as children as our
Mm.
sun, you know. And one of the things that when you went into the homes, there was no cookers, nothing. There was just a simple bed and a chair. But when you went in, there was no window, just one door that went in. It was like a living mushroom that you walked into,
Mm.
and it would light up, and it lit up, and what lit it up were fairies in the roof.
Mm.
And I can remember looking at thinking, oh my God, there's fairies in the roof. And that, so what Isabella was just shown by the crystal ball really did bring those memories back to me and the emotion of that and the smells and the tastes and wow. So I think we can quite clearly say that the 5D realm that we talk about is as we describe it or have manifested it or
Mm.
expect it to be, which is absolutely amazing. Now, before we go on to the 4D, can you take some cards for me and a couple of questions that I've got, please?
Yes.
Now, one of the big questions I've had, and I'm certain you have as well, Isabella, is when we move to the 5D or when we transition, and we'll get into that another question in a little while, will our pets,
Yeah.
will the animals around us, our pets, the birds we feed, those, sentient beings around us, will they be joining us when we transition into this area?
Yeah, that's a very important question because those all the animals are innocent, sentient beings. They don't deserve to be left behind, to be killed and tortured. You know, will our animals, pets or non-pets,
Yeah, yeah, non-pets as well.
um, coming into the 5D when it's time? Oh, which one should we take? I'll put that here. And some dice. Um, in the tarot cards, we have the Temperance, Seven of Pentacles, and Eight of Swords. On the Oracle cards, we have Go Alone. Sometimes the wisest company is silence. And then we have Stillness and Personal Karma. On the dice, we have Desperate, Specific, and Revolting. According if our pets are going with us, it would be very revolting if they were left behind. It would not fit that dimensional frequency. To go alone, it's not the question. It would not give stillness for those millions and billions of souls that are moving. They would have very bad, it would be very bad karma to leave the animals behind. Because without the animals, there is no wholeness. There is really nothing. It's just a meadow. We must be all kinds of life, all kind of life. And here we have a green tree, meadow, and fruits. So we need to have our animals. Without them, it would be felt we have Eight of Swords. It will not be nice for anyone. We will be thinking about our beloved pets and other animals that have loved us unconditionally. Why should they be left behind? It will not be any balance to that. So a logical question I would answer to this: we cannot go alone. It would be a desperate move to leave the pets behind. And let's just take another card as a confirmation. Will our animals go with us? Here we have Four of Cups. A lot of people, it's like if they don't go, a lot of people will refuse to go into 5D. So the decision, whoever made the decision, is that let the animals come.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And again,
It would be very bad karma not to let them come.
I agree. I agree. It would be totally wrong for us to go along this journey and get to the stage where we potentially are in the position to go somewhere else and
Mm,
to leave those around us that have supported us and loved us. It
yes,
would be an act of cruelty, and
yes,
in that in itself, I think, would bar us from entry into the 5D alone.
yes. No, so they have to come. So there will be balance.
No, that's brilliant, and I hope that puts a lot of the audience, calms them down and puts them at ease
Mm,
over this very important question.
yes.
Now, we're talking about going somewhere, going into the 5D. Now, that's an assumption by us. Can the cards confirm? Can you ask the cards, is 5D a different place that we're going to go to from the 3D? Is it a physical journey as such that we're going to undertake? And it could be something like a big flash of light and suddenly we're transported somewhere. I have no idea. But that flash of light would be a journey from one place to another.
Mm,
Does that make sense, Isabella?
yes. How do we get to 5D?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
How do we get to 5D? Is it a physical journey or is it just a layer that is peeled off?
Very well put. Very well put.
How do we come to 5D? How do we enter? Do we need a ticket? Where do we buy those tickets? Oh, let's see. How do we enter 5D? How do we enter 5D? Sorry, a bit disorganized here with the cards. How do we? Well, here's two cards. Let's see here. In the tarot cards, we have King of Pentacles, the High Priestess, Eight of Cups. On the Oracle cards, Precious Time, Imagination, a Sight, and a Bear. And on the dice, we have Opens, a Desire spore, and muck. Opens, we have time, so it could be a new timeline or something will be opened up. I don't see any journey, not like we're going from one planet to another, but something else will be opened up. And we have imagination, a desire for an high priestess. Those who desires to live in such a place, for those this portal or this whatever will be opened. And there we have a scythe. You reap what you sow. And have you reaped horror, disaster, evilness? You will not enter. You will be eaten by the bear. Not a Russian bear, but a bear. And Eight of Cups. People will turn their back because there's someone turning their back. They will turn their back to this old world. I get the strong when I'm looking at these cards. That's a story from the Bible when so-called God, called it God, decided to destroy Sodom and Gomorrah because those places were filled with evilness and wickedness, and there were no chance for any good people to be left there. And Lot and his wife, daughters, they ran out from Sodom and Gomorrah. And God said, don't look back. Uh, when you look back, you will become a piece of salt. Hmm? And something similar. This world, this 3D world, will be totally destroyed. We have to, when that happens, don't look back, just go forward. Because if you look back, means that you don't want to live in this precious, harmonious place. So it will be like with leaving one world and going into another. But I don't see it like going to another planet. It's that frequency that 3D represents everything will be totally eliminated. And those who still wish for living in that kind of chaos, they will go when that time comes. They will vanish.
They
How
will
to put it?
vanish. They will vanish from our sight because we will go somewhere frequency wise, spiritually
Yeah,
wise, into something else, so we can no longer see them.
yeah. New
One
openings.
question connected to that, and it's a small one, but also something that I would like confirmation on is will we be moving into this place in our current physical bodies?
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. We'll be moving into this place in our current physical bodies. Let's see now. I'll take these ones. Will be moving into this place in our current physical bodies. We have two of wands, king of wands, and three of coins. All those are quite physical cards. Coins is, metal. Wands is also something physical. And here we have the sun. So yeah, we're gonna move into the sun in our physical bodies.
Brilliant, brilliant.
Yeah.
For me, that answers many, many questions
Mm.
and certainly puts my mind at rest regarding 5D and what we're talking about and what we mean when we're discussing 5D currently. Is there anything else on the 5D before we perhaps move on to the 4D that
Yeah,
you have?
I get a strong vision here because sometimes cards, crystal ball, they provoke other visions. When the destruction of 3D comes, it's like we will be in sort of a safe place before we can move into the fight.
I wonder if that safe place is to make sure that there's no attachments to us before we move in. I, I just got the word airlock.
Yeah, something like that. We have to be put in some kind of contamination. Yeah, because the 5D cannot be permitted to have any parasites or any negative negativity from 3D to come in and multiply. So the whole circle starts again.
Yeah. So it's almost like we're going to take a decontamination shower
Yeah,
before,
symbolical. Yeah. Mm.
yeah, symbolically before we move into that zone. That's really
Mm.
interesting as well.
And that could happen. That as I said, it could be off Earth before we are put down again.
Certainly
But it's
something.
not a journey to another planet. It's still in a safe place until everything is cleaned out.
So that takes me to 4D.
Mm.
Is 4D connected to that same safe place, or is it a non-physical place? Do you see what I'm? Because that's really quite
Mm.
interesting how it flows. Because 4D definitely has some kind of meaning and importance into this, without doubt. Now,
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to do cards or your crystal ball again. It's up to you, but I'm not really sure on how to ask the question about the 4D. I've always
I have
seen
to
it as,
take the crystal ball on that
yeah,
because it's quite a big question.
yeah, I've always seen it as a non-physical, but I wonder, what do you see, Isabella, in 4D? What is 4D?
What is 4D? Yeah. Um, a repair shop, they say. Yeah, because a lot of us are broken. A lot of us have diseases and illnesses and a lot of things that are not working as they should. Before we enter the 5D, it's like we, because I see big, like a spaceship above Earth. Huge, 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 huge. Um, examinations. Those who are very ill, they go in one place to be repaired, depending on illness and And also wishes. Where would you like to live? What do you prefer? Tropical, Arctic, uh, forest, ocean? So it's like the preference, what you prefer to live, uh, and also organizing families together, friends together. Mm. And this some kind of spaceship. It's so extremely huge, almost as huge as planet. And I see different levels. Also for the animal species of Earth, because they also have to be cleaned out from parasites, from illnesses, from, you know, all kinds of stuff that could make them ill. So they will also be prepared to move on to the clean Earth. So this is a huge project. And those who are holding this or arranging this, I don't see them as humans. They're totally different kind of beings. Tall. Some of them are like bluish in color. Yeah, it's quite strange, but everything is well organized, friendly. Yeah, it's just like a surgeon. He cannot begin to operate on a person, make surgery, without being sure there is no bacteria, the hands are cleaned, everything is sterile before he puts his hand in a wound. The same is here. You cannot allow someone who is dirty into a clean place. It must be cleaned. And this is nothing like um, programming or mind control or AI. No, it's totally like a shower, this disinfection, mm. But in a very friendly way. And there are like healing chambers, those who need to be healed before they can go down. Because, if you come there, you're 95 years old and you have to be restored. The DNA have to be restored. And many that comes up here are not aware what's happening to them. Even if their frequency is right, they are not um, mentally prepared to what is coming. So there is also some kind of school or instruction or informative. So they have to be taught, taught what is going on. Mm. And a lot of people, children, elderly, men, women, everyone. So it's like they are gonna be taken off, even the animals, and then the surface totally cleaned out, restored, and then we can be put down again. It's like you cannot put on dirty underwear after you have taken a shower. It's no use. The same here.
That has actually surprised me, but kind of made sense to me as well, because your description of the 5D was very close to my understanding of what I'd seen.
Mm,
And I knew that that was not the first place we went to, or I was told it was not the first place we went to when we came out of the 3D. And
mm,
my assumption was that 5D was the decontamination zone, kind of the med bed for the mind and the body,
mm.
and then you went somewhere else. But I think my assumption was completely incorrect. And the 4D is the clean zone, the cleaning part of it, the med bed physically, and then we go into the 5D, and then we decompress from our minds, and then we start to
Yes.
expand and express into what we truly should have always been.
Mm,
So the 4D, that's beautiful, and that did surprise me.
yeah. And it was like huge spacecrafts of some kind. Yeah.
But it makes total sense, though, doesn't it, Isabella?
Mm,
Because If you've been swimming in mud before you can go into and sit into you've got a dog, the dog's jumped in the river, it's rolled around in the mud.
Mm,
Are you going to hose the dog off before and dry the dog off before you put it in your car?
yeah,
Or are you going to let the dog jump into your car, give it a good old shake, and put mud all over your car?
yeah,
You're not going to do that.
yeah. So
Yeah.
it's something like that. And then we have 60, 70, 80, 90, and so on. But let's hope we make it to 4D and 5D, and then we can take all the other Ds.
I agree. I don't think we need to look much beyond that because
Yeah,
I think by the time we get into 5D, we'll then start to have an understanding of so much more around us and what is available to us that it will become a natural thing, which is really, really interesting. Um, and it
and
kind
who
of,
knows, by the after a time in 5D, could be that we talk telepathical to each other, or that we, fly with thought.
I think we will. I think there is actually no limit to our abilities, but in this dense physical form that we're in now, and 5D will be a less dense form, with the overlay that I see, you know, that came in and suppressed us and that we've been living under. I think that is almost like it's like running with a blanket on your head.
Yeah,
You're never going to be able to run as fast or see where you're going while that blanket's on
yeah.
your head. And the 4D is the blanket being removed, and the 5D is being allowed to start running again and seeing where you're going.
And living for the first time.
Yeah. Now, something that you've said, and I want to clarify this very much so in the cards, please.
Mhm.
We're going to go somewhere else and we're going to be helped by friendly beings from the galaxy. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
Other beings from the galaxy, different dimensional frequencies, realms, however you want to see it. Okay, but we'll use the word galaxy for the time being. These are definitely 100% friendly and safe for us, aren't they, Isabella? Please.
yeah. So we're not getting a
Out of the fire into the
Terminator.
frying pan. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Frying pan into the fire. Sorry, yes.
let's see. All those beings that gonna help us to transit, are they really on our side, friendly ones? Not bloodthirsty, whatever.
Yeah. I know many of us are very suspicious
Mm. It
because
should
of the
be.
yeah, because of the journeys we've had and the things we've seen, and quite rightly so. So it
Mm.
is a valid question. And again, just because the cards say something, always use your personal discernment. What does your gut feel? How do you feel about something at the time when certain things happen?
Yep.
Trust yourself, please.
Here we have the Tower, Four of Cups, and Ace of Pentacles. Then we have Insight and Discovery. So they have been observing us. They know a lot of thing about us. They know that we are in a tower moment. Sorry. And Four of Cups. They know that a lot of us do not want to be here. Are they friendly though? Doesn't say. Departure. Well, let's say again, they're gonna help us to departure. I think they are friendly. We have the Ace of Pentacles, so the answer is yes. They are friendly. Eight of Pentacles, they're gonna help us to work this out. Help us to get rid of Eight of Swords. And the journey. Page of Cups for the animals. They are friendly. And since we live in a tower moment, we are suspicious to everyone. But they are here to help us to transit for the journey. They don't want to eat us or um, feed us in any way. They are here to help us to go away from this tower. And I don't think they are they're gonna be like best buddies. No, they're not this kind of, oh my God, my soulmate. No, they are there to do their task, to help and clean and re bring back the people. So they are not enemies nor friends. That's what I could say. They are here to take care of the mess.
I have to say that's the feeling I got as
Hmm.
well.
Yeah.
That they will be polite, courteous,
Hmm.
but they've got a job to do and they're going to do their job. And
Yeah.
once they've done their job, they're going home.
Yeah.
So the quicker they can get that job done, the quicker we can transit, the quicker they can go home.
Yeah.
And that's not them being horrible or funny towards us. It's just a fact that
Yeah.
if we were traveling to a different country to help some people, the quicker we could get that job done, the quicker
Mhm.
we could get home,
Mhm.
we would be doing the same.
So it's something like that. They're no enemies, no friends. They are there for doing a job. Mm, the emperor. Yeah. So the friends, we're gonna be surrounded by friends, but they are not enemy, and they don't want to use us. And people can get disappointed why those beings would not interact with us, and that could be um, taken as, oh, they don't like us. No, it's nothing. They don't have any like or dislike. They're doing a job.
Something that I do wonder about this, the beings that are helping us, I feel a lot of those beings are from different dimensional frequencies.
Hmm.
Are they, or some of them, fundamentally higher vibrational being frequencies from 7, 8, 9D that we don't know about, we haven't asked about? Are they fundamentally us coming back to help us?
If it we us
Yeah.
from.
So we're a connection to source, we're connected to the creator or whatever, word you want to use.
Mhm.
Are they intrinsically connected to us? Because I believe everything is connected and everything is one.
Mhm.
So my question is, are they us, but not us, if that makes sense?
Decide us or not us. Okay, are those beings us in a certain way? Us, are those being us? Freezing doubts, travel, temperance, two of swords, the moon. I don't know if they are us, but this is a cobweb. So they're connected to us somehow. They are part of that web. And they do a lot of travel. So they could travel between dimension, travel between in space and time. And here, two of swords, they are blinded. So they don't take sides. They're not here. They're just doing a task. Temperance to bring balance. Here we have the moon. I don't know why the moon came up. Maybe they have some bases at the moment somewhere on the moon. Let's see. The moons will not be there for so long, but why does the moon come up? Or they have connection to the moon in a way. I don't know. They are not the evil ones that created the moon, but they have some connection to the moon at present time.
Perhaps they're making something right because they were involved in the past in something that was taken and twisted.
Mm. Because they put a lot of hard work. We have 10 of coins regarding the moon. And restoring to happiness. But those beings will bring a lot of happiness and abundance. Because 10 of coins and 3 of cups, it's abundance and happiness and joyful moments. And as I said, they're nor enemy nor friend, they are neutral.
I think that answers the question very, very clearly. Thank you very much, Isabella. So, do you have any last words on this before we go? Because for me, I'm quite shocked and surprised at some of the stuff, but also it makes total sense. How
Mm,
about you?
yeah. I never thought about this sort of decontamination, but it's quite logical. If we have to enter a place, just like you go to Australia, you cannot take anything with you when you enter to Australia. No food, no this, no that, because they don't want to have their country contaminated with foreign seeds or animals or diseases. So it will be the same story here when Earth is restored and we can come back.
And it also makes sense when we're going through such a big upheaval, such a momentous thing that's actually happening that we're living through, for there not to be safety protocols at the very last would be very foolish.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you have to be careful who you let into your house.
you certainly do. So, with that, thank you everybody for watching. Please like, share, and subscribe to Isabella of Tarot by Isabella. And please like, share, and
It's okay.
subscribe to me, Gary, from Alternative Interactions. I do really appreciate all the new subscribers and all the support I get. You know, you really are a wonderful, amazing community. Thank you, everybody, for everything you do, not only for me, but for Isabella as well. We
Thank you.
we
Yeah,
both really appreciate how wonderful, amazing you really all are. And even though Isabella can't respond to your comments very often, I know she reads them all, and it's very important to us. And we enjoy the feedback and the reading of these comments. So thank you very much, everybody.
yes. Thank you so much.
And with that, Isabella,
Bye bye.
bye bye.